are back, and today we are making a entree. I Googled that.
We're getting fancier and fancier.
Yeah. Anyways, we are doing our take on beef Wellington.
So normally it's a fancy schmancy dish made with a very expensive pork. No,
Beef tenderloin. Beef tenderloin.
Yeah. Okay. So it's actually layers and layers of like puff pastry, pate, prosciutto, and then like the tenderloin in the middle. So this we're gonna do ground beef. We're making it family friendly, sort of easy.
Budget friendly.
Budget friendly. Yeah. It'll sound fancy, but it's not. So.
But it tastes really fancy.
Yes, it does actually. So we're just gonna throw some butter in there and minced up mushrooms and some onions. Yes. And we're just gonna get this cooking till the onions are translucent.
Translucent, that was a good one too. Well, and I'm just gonna peel potatoes for the mashed potatoes.
Fancy. All right, and I'm gonna put a little bit of, no I'm not. So I'm just gonna start with some lean ground beef, and to this we're gonna add some stuff and get our hands dirty.
Nice. I'll peel potatoes when you get your hands dirty.
I'm surprised you let me get my hands dirty. I was waiting for you to.
I know how much you enjoy it.
Okay, so we're gonna add 2 eggs, hopefully no shells. We're gonna add some breadcrumbs. I just didn't have breadcrumbs, so I just like crushed up some crackers.
Same thing, yep.
Yeah.
That works.
All right. Some parsley. And the ingredients and the measurements will be on the bottom of it. And just some milk or cream, whatever, just to give it a little moisture.
Perfect.
Just a tablespoon. And some salt and pepper. Ooh.
That came out pretty fast that time. I like pepper.
They don't have to taste it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like 3 things of salt and a whole bad thing of pepper.
And then were you going to add like any extra spices to it or anything?
And this is where you can kind of take liberties.
Okay.
And like we know you would probably add.
I like the steak spices and
some Parmesan cheese or something in there.
I probably.
Yeah. I'm going to add red pepper flakes because why not? Just a little kick.
Nice.
I don't know.
A little heat.
And so I'm just going to give this a stir before I get my hands dirty. All right, so then you're gonna go in there with clean hands, I promise.
Pre-washed hands, yes, yes.
And you're just gonna mix this all in. All right.
Perfect.
All right, so now the mushrooms and onions have cooked down. They're nice and translucent and softened. So now I'm gonna add our juice. It did call for red wine. So I never have red wine on hand. I don't drink wine. So I always like the taste of some beef stock or veggie stock. I actually just I didn't have beef stock, so I made my own with beef bouillon. And I learned that at Cordon Bleu again, my French.
Very nice, very nice.
Or like I even had a little bit of au jus. So I added it just for that rich beef flavor. Yeah. I just went through my cupboard. You just add whatever you have. Just it's about a half a cup. So just kind of take liberties and add what you want to it. Just as long as it's a half a cup. It's the liquid, it's gonna cook down. I'm gonna add some garlic to it. I added quite a bit.
Yeah.
I like, a few cloves. I like a lot of garlic. And some basil. Again, you can use dried basil.
But that's fresh?
That's fresh, just because I was at the store.
Nice.
And so it's quite like runny, like it's a lot of juice. So you're gonna let the juice reduce down just on medium and just keep stirring it until there's no liquid left.
It's very savory.
Yeah, and so just a little point that when I was making this recipe, I was like, I actually almost cooked the hamburger, but the hamburger goes on raw on our puff pastry as we assemble. So just make sure you leave the hamburger in the bowl and we'll put it into little balls. So we'll show you, but just don't cook it.
Not yet.
All right, so now this is reducing. The liquid's about half gone, so we'll just do the puff pastry while we're waiting.
Sounds good.
So we'll just roll some out, just a little flour. I took the puff pastry out like 3 or 4 hours or whatever, so you don't want a big chunk because it stays in the freezer. So a big chunk of ice in the middle. So you want it just cold to the touch. And I just got this at Save-On.
Ah, it's pretty fancy and
It
heavy
smells
too.
Fancy, right? All right, so it doesn't stick.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your roller you
Oh,
got it.
no,
I'm like,
no.
it's nice and big and heavy. Fancy
Oh.
one.
I'm a baker. I have all the baking tools and no cooking stuff. You have all the fancy cooking gadgets. All right, so you're supposed to do a square. That was proved difficult for me last night.
Looking pretty
Or a
good.
triangle, just so you can cut this into 4. You don't want it too thin though, because it's so yummy over the little. So can you
All right.
cut those in
I'm
4?
gonna cut these in 4.
Okay, so now our mushroom mixture has reduced. There's not a lot, there's barely any liquid, because you don't want it too much, because it'll make the puff pastry soggy.
Right.
So we're just gonna, you don't want to burn it, but just keep an eye on it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on here. Just eyeball how much you want. Depends how big the pieces are. And then
Yum.
I'm just gonna grab a little bit of hamburger and make almost like a little patty.
Okay.
Just a nice, and again, how big they are versus how much room you have. A little package. Now this is where I know you would want to add
Cheese.
cheese.
I'm thinking a little cheddar or even mozzarella would be really nice on there.
Yeah, so mozzarella, brie, even whatever you like. I know you would cheese it up. So
I would totally cheese it up.
So I'm just gonna pull the pastry around this little and make a little package. If it's not sticking, you can use the egg wash to kind of like.
Oh, so it's got some like good
stick to it. Yeah,
or
pull.
stretch to it. Yeah.
Stretch. Yeah, you can really pull it around.
Okay.
Make a little package and squeeze it, so all the juices don't all fall out. And then,
Cool.
yeah, it's not very pretty, but then you turn it upside down and put it on the. I'll just have. Is there a knife?
Oh, yes. Where did that go?
I'm going to put the egg wash on it as well, but I'm just going to cut a little hole just to let the steam out. So you can do a little design if you're fancy. And just a little, and then we're going to put a little egg wash on it. And you can do yours however you want. All right. And then it goes on a greased pan for the oven. And this just makes it golden brown with the egg wash. It just will keep it golden brown.
We are back. We've cooked the potatoes. We're just going to get them mashed up. The beef Wellington. Yes, beef Wellington is almost ready to go. We've got some gravy done, and yeah, so I don't know how everybody does their mashed potatoes, but I like rich food. Shocker. Yeah. So butter, of course, in my but I use sour cream instead of butter, or milk. Sorry. It's just rich and creamy and.
Oh, you use it instead of milk. I didn't even think of that.
Instead of milk. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm just gonna mash away while Jodine deals with the beef Wellington.
You always elevate it. You take it and add a spin.
I add a pound or 2.
All right.
We're old schooling it here with the masher.
What do you usually use? Do you use a
I use a
immersion?
hand blender. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so here is the true test. You ready? Should we cut one in half?
Yeah. See what it's.
Looks like inside.
So make sure it's nice and cooked inside. If not, throw it back in.
Ooh, that looks yummy.
And Diana was fancy and made some gravy as well. So if you want a little extra liquid,
Yep.
kind of nice.
Awesome. All right, Jode. Ooh, that looks really good. Looks hot. Be careful. Hot.
Oh, your gravy's good too.
That's really good.
So if you want to give this a try, just let us know. On reserve, we'll do the main ingredients.
It's really hot.
Should I?
I'm back.
Okay. Okay, and if not, just for everyone else, take a picture, put your spin on it, send it to us, and you can enter to win a prize.
That's right. That was really good.
Oh, it was good.
It was really good. Yeah.
Enjoy. Thank you.
Hi.